men, she likes stories. Long, long stories.
Your Majesty, we came up to tell you a story. Because we know you like stories, and the populace like stories, right? Yay! Your Majesty, long, long ago, when I moved to the Mid-Realm, I started playing here. And I met a gentle who I decided I wanted to grow up to be her, even though I was already had 4 kids and was an adult. She was so cool. She inspired the fencers of our kingdom. She helped run bardic circles. And she made order out of chaos. And Alexander...
In fact, Your Majesty, she is Team Mom for the Abbey of Sans Nomen. She is Team Mom, or has been Team Mom, for the Barony of Illiton. She has been Team Mom at the Jubilee celebration, and in fact for the entire province of the Midlands. And we think, meaning no disrespect to your royal family, that the kingdom needs a Team Mom.
I see.
So, Your Majesty, we beg food.
We're asked if we do the right and proper things in our power to grant we shall.
We ask that Mary Injun Doubt be admitted into the order of
Mari.
Maire, King and Dawid. Master John's wife.
Yeah.
I mean, the person who married them.
Right, Mari's husband's wife.
His Majesty summons forth the masters and mistresses of the Order of the Pelican again.
Bill Master and Mistress of the Order of the Pelican, it is your judgment that Maire be allowed into your order.
Aye!
His Majesty calls forth Warder, Maire, Inyan, and Dawid.
Ladies of courage, come brave lords and true, come answer the challenge of Maire. I scorned her all once, but now I am sworn to follow the rapier of Maire. Come prance with bellows, come prance with cold steel, come prance with the rapier of Maire. Come willow, come wallow, come gather and go, and live the dream of Maire. Live the dream of Maire.
Masters and mistresses, populace all, is there a member of the populace who would speak to Marie's service?
Your Majesties, good gentles all gathered here, I am Lady Lorelei Skye of Sans Nomen, here to speak at the behest of Marie Inyan Daib in regards to her elevation to your most honored order of your Pelican. Those who win crowns or are bestowed with peerage are those who we in the populace, who Shakespeare may have called groundlings, are told to look at for our examples. The Pelicans, those who serve at large, model and who teach others how to effectively serve. And while not leading the charge of battle, Pelicans do lead and muster the volunteers, those who works and efforts create the world, the spaces, and lay the foundation for others to show up and be part of a living history, our current Middle Ages, and who, at the end of the day, roll up their sleeves and complete the work to clean up afterwards, to turn these faces of the mundane back to the mundane, workaday, less magical places that they were. A Pelican's gift of service, creating a dream for those around them. Visible award, the Pelican in her piety exemplifies this and identifies to those who we, the populace, are to watch. But peers like our heads of state sometimes seem too lofty, too high to reach, a mystery incomprehensible. So we look for others, approachable, knowledgeable, to act as our guides, our translators, to help us to find and to research these vast tomes of knowledge, and to maybe discover that a peer is really just another fellow traveler, and can become enthusiastic to meet another of like-minded interest. Maire is such a hub, a finder of facts and information, a facilitator who can link someone who has an interest to another who took an interest and made it their passion. Mary of Heatherdale wrote in her song One of Us that I think of far more than a fighter's song. I looked to find examples on the field of chivalry, saw mighty arms much stronger than my arms could ever be, and thought perhaps that field was not for me. Still, I stayed to watch the fighting till one figure stood apart, and I took the step which soon became a start. I guess she'd once decided this was where she'd like to be, and I thought if she could do it, why not me? For she was not the biggest fighter, nor one to raise a fuss, but I remember being proud that she was one of us. And though we might never stand together in a shield wall side by side, because of her, I lift my sword with pride. When I first met Maire, I was someone looking for examples, and I said to myself, "Self, this is a woman I would very much like to be when I grow up, because she inspires me and has continued to inspire me to this day. I learned she was one of those who laid the foundation for fencing in the Kingdom of the Middle. This was well before my own time started in the SCA. I do not recall a time when fencing was not a widespread, ever-growing, lively, present activity in the Middle Kingdom. But I have listened to bard's tales and of such times, of the dawn and the sowing of seeds, how it thrives through challenge and adversity, and look, see the hundreds who have followed and joined the dance down this well-trodden road, where once only this lady and a very few others blazed a new trail into the wilderness and into wonder, opening a new chapter of the dream for so many who followed after, and who continues to serve that community as warder, tourney leader, marshal, helping to train others and lead tournaments and to lead marshals. I have watched Maire, the bossy piece of toast of Sans Nomen, as one of my examples of how to act, how to dare, how to serve. With the blithe spirit of the weaselope, as she willingly sets aside her sword at times for a martial staff, so others can take up their swords to turning. I have seen her open her home to friends and also to near strangers so newcomers can feel welcome, and that they have a place to begin to join this dream that we create every event, offering her determination, encouragement, lending strength and comfort to those who may be faltering at whatever they have set themselves out to accomplish, gifting her suggestions and sage counsel when asked, to so many of us who tread this dance in measure, not just to those picking out their first blades, but the ins and outs of the society, how to find niche, how to help us network and connect with others of like minds, interests of arts, martial, and service. And if any leave her hearth or table side hungry, thirsty, or ill-provisioned, without tea or coffee, okay, I honestly can't think of any time anybody has managed such a feat. Your Majesties, gathered peers, good gentles all, I, a member of your populace, affirm, this candidate, Marie Yen Daib, is someone you very much want us, your groundlings, to see and learn from her example, to serve with blithe spirit that many hands turn sacrifice into celebration, to create spaces for others, to open our eyes to what needs to be done and how it only takes willingness from within to step up and take up the tasks through to completion, to meet and greet others and to help cheerfully guide someone who may be searching, to someone who may have the next step or even an answer. She can and will lead, and will teach those who follow her how to lead the charge, to serve the populace, the crown, the kingdom, the dream, and will continue to keep all alive and well in all the years to come. She gave me great honor when she asked me to stand and speak for her, and perhaps the greatest honor of all, to come and be welcomed and call her a friend. So when I think about examples, how you act and how you dare, because you never know who's watching or how far that story goes, and where'er that lady is, I hope she knows. For she was not the biggest fighter, nor one to raise a fuss, but I remember being proud that she was one of us. And we might never stand together in a shield wall side by side, but because of her, I lift my sword with pride. Because of her, I lift my sword with pride.
Is there a member of the Order of the Laurel who would speak to her accomplishments in the arts and sciences?
I would. I am Mistress Valmond's daughter. Another bossy piece of toast. Maire is my oldest friend in the sea. And I was honored, beyond measure, when she asked me to speak for her as her lord. But then I thought, what does Maire do? Besides this, that, other things, mostly talking with her hands. Which is a wonderful thing to do, but not a recognized art. kind of going, I don't know if I want to play this game. There's really nothing in it for me. There's really not my niche. She came in. She came to where I was working with this big smile on her face and her enthusiasm for a dance. A dance she continues today. A dance that everyone who holds a rapier or hopes to hold a rapier continues. It is because of her and her dancing, including the polka in the back of the court. Bad boys. That we have such a wonderful story group of women as well as men. Today, we recognize Lady Narissa for her 2,000 fights. And that is all because of Mari and her love of the dance we love.
Thank you. Is there a member of the Order of the Chivalry who would attest to her service to our martial community?
There is, Your Majesty. Sarish Tili Shoshino, Knight of the Society, Master of the Pelican, Order of the Bronze Ring. I want to attest to Mari's chivalry. Chivalry is the way of the sword. Look upon this. This is what I call a sword. Does this look strange to you?
Yes.
How many of you who have been in the society in recent times can imagine that these blades look just as strange to the mid-realm as this weapon does? Because that's what it was when Mari arrived. Wow. Elevator now. Mari did this in so many respects hidden. I saw Master Alfred of Chester, a good friend of mine, mid-realm through and through, when these blades appeared. My brother, Master Chen, not yet master, came home one day from a 12th night, carrying what he called an Ancioran Express card, where he could fight with these strange blades of steel. Then I would learn of John Itchingham's service, and he would become my squire, giving me great honor and a greater friendship. Because it's then I become to know Mari, and I learned of all the things that she had done that only the rapier community had seen. Because she stood behind John and behind Alfred, because all she wanted to do was follow the way of the sword, which is the way of chivalry. We developed in Terrapini something we call the Mari Plan. We're not great planners in my household. So when we would step onto the field of battle, the Mari Plan was simple. Get 'em. Works sometimes too. She would stand and just keep fighting and fighting. As a warder of the Bronze Ring, which to her is her white scarf. And I use those words intentionally this day, as she becomes a peer of the realm. I commend her chivalry to you and her blade as no other. Thank you, Your Majesty.
Thank you. Is there a peer of our royal estate who would
Yes.
speak to her noblesse?
Yes, Your Majesty, there is. I, Duchess Free of Riders Keep, Order of the Pelican, cannot even begin to match the wonderful eloquence of her fellow people. It just, to be as a royal peer, it is such an honor because we so rarely get to speak at the elevations. I have known Mari for a very, very long time. When I first moved to this kingdom many years ago, she was one of the first faces
that I saw when I came in from another kingdom. I have never forgotten that. When we ascended the thrones twice, she was there to be our support, to give us guidance, wise counsel to the crown. And it was some of the best advice we ever got. So, I really can't say any more except that I am so honored that she is going to be joining our order as a Pelican, and that as a royal peer, she will always, first and foremost, be a good friend, and a chance to thank you for all the royalty that you have assisted in making their reigns run smoother. So Maire, thank you again, and I am so honored that you are a member of our order. Thank you.
We have heard counsel from the populace, from the laurels, from the chivalry, and from our royal estate. But it is from you, the masters and mistresses of the Pelican, that we must seek our final counsel. Is there a member of the Order of the Pelican who would speak to our accomplishment?
I, Master John Inchingham the Fool, will speak of the service of my lady, Warder Maire Inyan Daif. As we have heard, Marie's service is many and varied. But the thing that she is known for, and that which will be her legacy, was bringing rapier combat to the Midrock. I know, because I was there, that many, many people worked very hard to make that a reality. She did not do it alone. But I also know, because I was there, that those of us who were in the fore would not have done so without her inspiration. She was the catalyst that caused rapier combat to happen. Currently, there are almost 500 active fencers in the Middle Kingdom. 250 in Eldmere, 250 in North Shield, both of which were part of the Midround when rapier combat became legal. That's 1,000 people who are having fun on the weekends now because of your work. But more than that, when we moved to the Midround, the known world was divided into two camps. Those kingdoms who thought rapier combat was a good and fun thing, and those who were adamantly opposed. The Midround stood in a fulcrum position. When the Midround decided that rapier combat was legal, the other kingdoms fell like dominoes, one by one. The fencers of those kingdoms, even though they don't know it, also owe a debt to this lady. When we were young, Maire and I, when we were young, before we moved to the Midround, before we were John and Maire, before we joined the SCA, before we were married, before we were betrothed, we spoke, as young people in love sometimes do, about the future. And she said to me, I do not expect to do great things, but someday I would like to do one small thing that will be remembered. Well, it is true that many of the fencers today do not know this woman or what she did. It is true that as we age, fewer and fewer will know who Maire is. But I submit to you that the deed will not be forgotten.
Mindful of your service to the society and responsive to the wishes of your peers, we are resolved to create you mistress of the Pelican, which creature will nourish her young, when necessary, with the blood from her own breast. and therefore has been chosen as the most appropriate symbol of service to our society. Therefore, will you give us your word to continue the requirements set forth for the governance of this order, as you must surely have until now?
Yes.
Will you increase your labors nobly, increase your talents as befits one of your rank, and seek to disseminate your talents and abilities throughout the society?
Yes.
Do you promise to train any dependents you may have to serve as you have served?
Yes.
Is there a cloak?
Your Majesty, good populace all. My mother asks very little of other people, and that is why we all strive to give her what she deserves. And I would say just one thing about this cloak. On this, perhaps the most important day of her life, second to her marriage, people wanted to give her things. And she said, make it have Celtic knots. Is what was given to her. And all the other symbols that you will see. I want you to know that she accepts love from others in whatever form they choose to give it. I can't open the door. I'm like, you have to do something.
Only opens on the one side.
That's true.
Would you help me? Sorry, huh? Yep. Is there a cap?
There is. In fact, there are two. There are two.
Christ bless. Is there a medallion?
There is, Your Majesty. This medallion was given to me some 19 years ago, and it has been improved upon by Master Avery and many others.
Is there a scroll?
Yes, Your Majesty.
There is, Your Majesty. Oh, the things I could tell you, you would not believe, of the bold Lady Maire, Indian naive. For her stories are many, one scroll is not ample. So I'll say this instead, by way of example. Listen, good rapier rats, from near and from far, to the tale of Maire, from the land of the star. How north to the cold rickety shores she came, where dragons didn't play any rapier game. This fact made her sad, this fact made her glum. This kingdom we've come to, it just is no fun. They don't dance the duello or prance with cold steel. We must help them to know the joy that we feel. We'll teach them of parries, of thrusts, and of blocks. Release rats to carry the rapier pox. We'll teach them of tourneys and melee so grand, and then slay them all. That's my favorite plan. From a lone pair of rats in a darkened ship's hold, she's helped change our game in ways manifold. By being the swashbuckling plague's diplomats, she's become the godmother to all rapier rats. Yes, there have been a few changes since she first arrived. Good things tend to happen when the Maire has strived. She supports, she inspires, makes sure things get done. Sees to it that all those around her have fun. Today is for all those who quietly serve, their toil so tricky to note and observe. Though subtle, they're vital to this game we all play. That's why we make Maire a pelican this day. For she wears many hats, but these most of all. My father and friend, she inspires us all. The mid-realm can't function without such as she. So say we King Cameron and Queen Amelie. Done this 23rd day of August, AS 49, while sitting on our thrones in our shire.
I here swear guilty, to ever serve this kingdom and its crown,
to ever serve this kingdom and its crown,
to
provide wise counsel,
to provide wise counsel,
to increase my labors nobly,
to increase my labors nobly,
to give freely of my knowledge,
to give freely of my knowledge,
to the best of my ability,
to the best of my ability,
and to be worthy of the title Pelican.
and to be worthy of the title Pelican.
Thus swear I.
Thus swear I, Maire in
This we hear and shall never forget, nor fail to reward that which is given. Fealty with love, service with honor, and oath-breaking with justice. Please rise, Mistress of the Pelican.
Present arms!
Lords and ladies, your newest Mistress of the Pelican.
Huzzah!